deep within the untamed heart of northern Minnesota's sprawling wilderness, where ancient pines rise like silent sentinels guarding secrets older than the land itself. A group of friends stumbled into a nightmare carved from stone and shrouded in an impenetrable veil of shadow. Last summer, I, alongside Ashley, Brandon, Chelsea, and David, set forth on a camping trip, a pilgrimage to rekindle the bonds forged in the crucible of our high school years, a final gathering before the winds of college scattered us to distant horizons like leaves torn from a dying tree. What began as a weekend of laughter beneath a canopy of stars, amid the rustling embrace of a forest that seemed to pulse with life, spiraled into a harrowing confrontation with an unseen malevolence. A force that claimed Chelsea with a merciless grip and left the rest of us forever scarred, our souls tethered to the chilling abyss of a forgotten graveyard buried deep within the wilds. This is no mere campfire tale to be dismissed with the first light of dawn. It is a documentary of dread, meticulously woven with threads of tangible evidence. Crumbling headstones weathered by centuries of rain and wind, tents violated by invisible hands in the dead of night, ancient runes etched into the earth with a purpose we could not fathom, and the relentless, bone-chilling pursuit of a shadowy entity that defied the laws of reason and reality. Step into the darkness with me as we peel back the layers of this haunting saga, where the wilderness whispers the names of the dead in a language older than memory, the living teeter on the precipice of oblivion, and the air itself grows heavy with the weight of a terror that lingers long after the embers fade to ash. Through vivid, sensory detail that paints the scene in strokes of shadow and silence, psychological depth that plumbs the recesses of fear and guilt, environmental resonance that binds the land to the supernatural, and an unflinching gaze into the unknown. This narrative invites you to feel the cold, spectral breath of the unseen against your neck, to question the fragile boundaries that separate the living from the lost, and to confront the enduring legacy of a horror etched into the very soil of Minnesota's haunted wilds, a legacy that demands to be heard. The air thrummed with a quiet, electric anticipation as we gathered around Ashley's SUV, its trunk yawning wide like the mouth of some great beast, ready to devour our hopes and dreams. We loaded it with care, the cargo a testament to our intent, tents of weathered canvas that smelled of past adventures, sleeping bags rolled tight with the promise of warmth against the night's chill, and an assortment of camping essentials that hinted at the rustic revelry to come. A battered cooler, a dented pot, a coil of rope, and a first aid kit tucked away like a talisman. We were a quartet bound by the shared crucible of high school, our laughter and secrets a tapestry woven through years of friendship, its threads fraying now as college loomed on the horizon. A specter of change we sought to defy with this final stand. The grocery store stop was a ritual of excitement, our cart brimming with hot dogs plump with promise, marshmallows white as snow, soda cans clinking with a fizzy cheer, and the makings of s'mores, chocolate bars softened by the day's heat, graham crackers crumbling at the edges. Provisions for a weekend of innocence reclaimed amid the wild. Hours later, as dusk bled the sky into a canvas of amber and violet, streaked with the last defiant rays of the sun, we veered off the highway onto a narrow, winding back road, the smooth asphalt surrendering to gravel that crunched beneath the tires like the brittle bones of the earth, each jolt a reminder of our descent into isolation. The forest closed in, its towering pines casting long, jagged shadows that danced with the fading light, their needles whispering secrets in a language older than our own, a susurrus that seemed to carry the weight of forgotten tales, a prelude to the solitude that would soon envelop us like a shroud. After nearly an hour of jostling down the dirt path, the SUV's suspension groaning under the uneven terrain, its metal frame creaking with each rut, the trees parted like a curtain drawn back by an unseen hand to reveal a small clearing, a natural amphitheater framed by rugged bark and the ceaseless murmur of pine needles stirred by a breeze that carried the resinous scent of the forest and the faint, earthy musk of decaying leaves. This would be our sanctuary, a haven carved from the wild where the clamor of civilization, its horns, its chatter, its relentless pulse, could not reach, a space where time seemed to pause and hold us in its grasp. With eager hands, we erected two tents side by side, the canvas snapping taut against the evening breeze, its fabric a fragile barrier against the encroaching night, the stakes driven into the soft earth with a rhythm that echoed our anticipation. Brandon and I claimed one, the interior a cramped cocoon of nylon and shadow, its walls trembling slightly with each gust, while Ashley and Chelsea took the other, their voices a soft counterpoint as they secured the stakes, their laughter a fleeting melody against the deepening dark. A circle of stones, weathered and moss-streaked, marked the campfire pit, its edges blackened by fires long past, a silent invitation to gather and defy the void that pressed against the clearing's edges. Night fell with a swiftness that felt predatory, blanketing the woods in a pitch-black shroud that swallowed the last traces of daylight, and we skipped dinner, our hunger for connection outweighing our need for sustenance, the growls of our stomachs drowned by the crackle of kindling. Instead, we coaxed a fire to life, the flames leaping with a hungry vigor, casting a warm, flickering glow that illuminated our faces. Ashley's bright smile a beacon, Brandon's easy grin a shield, Chelsea's thoughtful gaze a window to her soul, and my own wide-eyed wonder a mirror to the night's mystery, transforming the clearing into a fragile island of light amid the boundless dark. Around the fire, conversation flowed like a river breaking free of its banks, a rich tapestry of summer jobs that had tested our patience with their monotony, college dreams that glittered with the promise of new beginnings, and budding romances that blushed beneath the stars, their whispers shared in hushed tones. The world beyond the trees, its deadlines that loomed like storm clouds, its dramas that tangled our lives, its relentless pace that wore us thin, felt a distant memory, replaced by the rhythmic pop of burning logs, the scent of pine smoke curling into the night like a prayer, and the occasional hoot of an owl perched unseen in the canopy, its call a solitary note in the wilderness's symphony. We roasted hot dogs on sharpened sticks, the grease sizzling as it dripped into the flames, sending up sparks that danced like fireflies, and assembled s'mores, the sticky sweetness of melted chocolate and marshmallow a fleeting comfort against the cold that seeped from the forest's depths, the graham crackers crumbling under our fingers like the fragility of our peace. As the fire dwindled to glowing coals, their embers pulsing like the heartbeat of the clearing, exhaustion crept in, a gentle tide that lapped at our edges, softening our voices and slowing our hands. One by one, we bid goodnight, our voices soft with the intimacy of long friendship, the words a balm against the night's chill. The last of us doused the flames with water from a dented canteen, the hiss of steam rising into the air a final note in the night's symphony, a requiem for the day that faded into silence. The clearing fell still, save for the moon's pale, unblinking gaze overhead, its light a fragile shield against the unknown, casting silver threads across the tent walls as we zipped ourselves into our sleeping bags, the nylon rustling like the wings of some restless spirit. Morning broke with a tentative grace, sunlight streaming through the nylon walls of our tent, its golden fingers rousing me from a sleep laced with dreams of rustling leaves and distant, unintelligible whispers that seemed to rise from the earth itself. Brandon snored softly beside me, his breath a steady rhythm oblivious to the world, a sound that anchored me in the moment, and I reached for my watch, perched on a stump we'd fashioned into a makeshift nightstand, its face scratched from the journey, its hands ticking with a quiet insistence, checking the time. Nearly 9 a.m. Stepping outside, I inhaled the brisk morning air, a sharp tang of pine and dew that filled my lungs with a clarity that felt almost sacred. The clearing bathed in dawn's golden rays. The pines filtered the light like a cathedral's stained glass, their branches a lattice of green and shadow, transforming the space into a sacred grove where the air seemed to hum with a latent energy. Soon, the rustle of fabric and sleepy murmurs signaled Ashley and Chelsea's emergence from their tent, their faces softened by the morning's gentle touch, their eyes blinking against the light as if reluctant to leave the dreamscape of sleep. Over oatmeal cooked in a dented pot, its steam rising in lazy spirals, and coffee brewed on the campfire's lingering heat, its aroma a lifeline in the cool air that wrapped around us like a cloak, we hatched a plan to explore the surrounding wilderness, packing day packs with water bottles slick with condensation and snacks wrapped in crinkling foil, each item a promise of sustenance against the unknown. Ashley unfurled a trail map, its creases worn from use, its edges frayed like the memories we carried, her finger tracing a blue dot 5 miles north, Blue Lake, a promise of beauty in the vast unknown, its name a siren call to adventure. With a shared nod, our excitement a palpable current that crackled between us, we set out, led by her steady guidance, the map a talisman against the forest's depths. Its folds a map not just of land but of the journey ahead. The trail began wide, a welcoming ribbon through the woodland, its earth packed firm by countless unseen feet, its surface a mosaic of roots and stones smoothed by time, but soon narrowed, the pines and spruces closing ranks like sentinels guarding a secret older than the trees themselves. Their canopy formed a verdant shield against the morning sun, dappling the path with patches of gold that shifted with each step, while the air carried the earthy scent of pine needles crushed underfoot, the damp musk of moss clinging to ancient stones, and the faint, metallic tang of water hidden in the distance. A perfume of the wild that invigorated our steps, quickened our pulses, and filled our lungs with the essence of the untamed. After a couple of miles, the terrain softened into a sunny clearing, the warmth a balm on our skin, the grass beneath us a carpet of green kissed by light, its blades bending under our weight. Chelsea spotted wild blueberries, their ripe clusters a jewel-like offering nestled among the undergrowth, and we lingered, savoring the tiny, sweet bursts of flavor, the juice staining our fingers a faint purple that marked us as part of this wild place. Refreshed, we pressed on, the trail descending a rocky slope, each step a descent into the heart of the wilderness, the stones slick with moss that gleamed like emeralds, the air growing cooler as the lake's presence loomed closer, its call a whisper on the breeze. At the slope's base, we emerged onto Blue Lake's pristine shoreline, a sight that stole our breath and rooted us to the spot, our feet stilled by the majesty before us. The water stretched out before us, a mirror of unbroken blue fading into a hazy distance where the horizon blurred with the sky in a seamless dance of color, framed by towering pines whose pointed tips jutted into the heavens like the spires of a forgotten cathedral, their reflections dancing on the glassy surface with a precision that felt almost otherworldly, each ripple a testament to the lake's stillness. Beyond, bluish-purple mountains rose like ancient guardians, their peaks piercing the firmament, their slopes cloaked in a mist that hinted at mysteries untold, their contours softening into the ether as if guarding the secrets of the wild. The breeze rustled the trees, a gentle susurrus that stirred the needles into a soft chorus, but an eerie silence hung over the lake, a stillness so profound it felt alive, as if the wilderness held its breath, waiting for us to trespass further. We approached the rocky shore with a reverence born of awe, shedding our boots with a reverence that echoed the silence, the stones warm under our bare feet, and dipped our toes into the crystal-clear water, its chill a shock that sent minnows darting below in silver flashes, their movements a dance of life beneath the surface. I trailed my fingers across the surface, sending ripples that fanned out like whispers, the lake's clarity revealing every pebble, every frond of underwater weed, every grain of sand with a clarity that felt like peering into another world. For a time, we sat on sun-warmed stones, their roughness a grounding force against the surreal beauty, lost in the serene expanse, a secret paradise untouched by time, where the world seemed to pause and hold us in its embrace, the water's edge a threshold between the known and the unknowable. Reluctantly, we turned back, the hike resuming with Ashley and Brandon's long strides pulling ahead, their silhouettes strong and purposeful against the green, their movements a rhythm that set the pace. Chelsea and I struggled to keep pace, our shorter legs a handicap on the uneven trail, our breaths coming quick as we navigated routes that twisted like veins and stones that jutted like bones, the effort etching lines of determination on our faces. Rounding a bend, I saw them freeze, their forms rigid, a tableau of shock against the forest's verdant backdrop, the air thickening with a sudden tension. Catching up, I huffed, "What's up?" My voice a rasp in the stillness, my chest heaving with the exertion. Brandon pointed, his arm a steady line, and my gaze followed, widening as it settled on a site nestled between the thick pines. An ancient graveyard, its presence a sudden wound in the wilderness's serenity, a scar upon the earth that pulsed with an unspoken dread. Overgrown with weeds that snagged at our clothes with thorny fingers and brush that rustled with a life of its own. The site held a dozen headstones, cracked and weathered beyond recognition, their surfaces eroded by rain and wind until the names carved there were lost to time, their edges softened into obscurity. A chill snaked down my spine, the air thickening with an unspoken dread, as if the earth itself exhaled a warning, its breath cold against my skin. Chelsea pressed closer, her unease a mirror to mine, her shoulder brushing mine with a warmth that grounded me, her breath quickening as we ventured into the graveyard, stepping carefully among the uneven ground and tangled weeds that clutched at our ankles with a possessive grip. The stones varied in decay, some intact with faint etchings that hinted at lives long gone, their letters a ghostly script of names and dates, others split down the middle like broken promises, their fragments scattered like the remnants of forgotten dreams, or worn smooth by centuries, their writing erased by nature's relentless hand, leaving only the vague outline of what once was. There seemed no order or arrangement to their placement, a chaotic scattering that suggested haste or despair, the ground beneath pocked with roots that twisted like arteries and thorny sprouts that pricked our skin with tiny, accusing stings, the earth itself resisting our intrusion. Pausing by a tilting marker, its lean a silent plea against time, its surface cold and slick with moss, I traced the faded lettering with trembling fingers, the stone's texture rough beneath my touch. A last name ending in Tuberg, perhaps Holtwerg, a birth year from the early 1800s, 1823, the numbers ghostly against the lichen, a date that spoke of a world long vanished. These souls, forgotten by history, lay untended, their resting place a silent crypt beneath the pines, their stories swallowed by the forest's maw, their silence a weight that pressed against my chest. Chelsea knelt by another stone, her hands gentle as she brushed away moss with a tenderness that belied her fear, revealing Margaret Wilson, 1867 to 1892. A life cut short at 25, her death a mystery etched in stone, her youth a stark contrast to the decay around her. I wondered what tragedies had claimed her. Disease that ravaged the body, an accident that stole her breath, or something darker, a force that lingered still, her narrative lost to the wind, her spirit perhaps bound to the shadows cast by the trees, watching us with unseen eyes. The surrounding pines cast long, skeletal shadows, their branches a canopy that blocked the afternoon sun, plunging the graveyard into a gloom that felt alive, a twilight realm where time seemed to hold its breath, its pulse a faint tremor beneath the earth. The stillness was oppressive, a frozen moment where the rustle of leaves ceased, the chirp of birds faded, and the air grew heavy with the weight of the unseen, a presence that seemed to press against the edges of my perception. Ashley's voice broke the spell, a tremor beneath her words that betrayed her calm. This place is weird. We should get out of here. We murmured agreement, the creeps driving us back to the trail, the woods now darker, denser, as if our discovery had awakened something dormant, its breath stirring the undergrowth. We walked close, our shoulders brushing with a desperate need for contact, glancing over our shoulders with every step, the hike back stretching longer than before, the path twisting like a serpent through the trees, its curves a labyrinth of shadow and light. Shadows lengthened as the sun sank, its light a dying ember that painted the forest in hues of crimson and indigo, and silence reigned, broken only by our crunching steps on the dirt path, a sound that echoed like a heartbeat, and the occasional rustle of branches that sounded like whispered threats, each snap a potential harbinger of doom. Every bend teased the hope of the campsite, its familiarity a beacon in the distance, but the forest felt endless, its depths hiding eyes we couldn't see, a presence that watched from the periphery of our vision, its gaze a weight that pressed against our souls. Relief flooded me as the ridge revealed our clearing below, the sun nearly set, its last rays painting the grass in hues of gold and crimson, the light a fragile thread against the encroaching night. Chelsea reignited the fire with practiced hands, her movements swift and sure, its crackling warmth a lifeline as we shed our packs, the heat a fragile defense against the cold that seeped from the woods. Dinner passed quickly, canned beans heated over the flames, their steam rising like ghosts, the metallic tang of the can mingling with the smoky air, and bread torn by hand, its crust a comfort against the growing dread. And as darkness enveloped us, the crescent moon offered scant light beyond the fire's narrow ring, its thin arc a mockery of safety, its pale glow swallowed by the trees. The woods loomed as a pitch-black void, their depths a maw that swallowed sound and light, their silence a presence that pressed against our fragile circle, and we stayed close, passing time with stories and marshmallows skewered on sticks. the sticky sweetness a fleeting distraction from the shadows that danced at the fire's edge. Brandon's attempts at humor. Tales of clumsy campers tripping over roots, of lost socks swallowed by the forest, faltered, his laughter dying under the weight of the surrounding dark, the shadows cast by the fire dancing like specters on the tent walls, their movements a mimicry of life. I glanced over my shoulder, half expecting a pale face among the trees, the fire's flicker amplifying every rustle into a potential threat, my heart a drumbeat against the silence, its rhythm a counterpoint to the night's stillness. Ashley's nervous laugh pierced the quiet, a fragile thread that trembled in the air. Remember that creepy graveyard? The suggestion of ghosts wandering the woods, their spectral forms seeking the living with a hunger born of neglect, sent a shiver through me, the nameless graves haunting my thoughts with their silent accusations. I pictured Margaret Wilson, her young life snuffed out at 25, her spirit perhaps bound to the stones, her eyes hollow with the weight of her unfinished story, and the others, dozens perhaps, hidden beneath layers of pine needles and leaves, their numbers a testament to a tragedy we could not comprehend. Watching us with unseen gazes, their whispers carried on the wind. Brandon redirected us with a firm, "Let's talk about something else." His voice a bulwark against the tide, but the conversation faltered, its rhythm broken by exhaustion and unease. The fire's embers a dwindling pulse in the night, their glow a fading star in the vast dark. One by one, we retreated to our tents, the atmosphere thick with unspoken fear. The zippers rasp a sound of finality that sealed us into our fragile sanctuaries. I changed into sweatpants and a hoodie, the fabric a meager shield against the cold that seeped through the nylon, and zipped into my sleeping bag, the rustle of fabric a reminder of the night's fragility, its sound a whisper of vulnerability. Every sound, a snapping log that echoed like a gunshot, an owl's mournful hoot piercing the dark, the distant crack of a branch that splintered the silence. Jarring my nerves, my body tense as if awaiting a blow, my mind racing with images of the graveyard stones. As sleep claimed me, its embrace a reluctant surrender, I thought I heard footsteps crunching in the distance, a whisper of the terror that would soon unfold, the forest's breath cold against my skin, its presence a shadow at the edge of my dreams. Morning light filtered into the tent, a golden intrusion that jolted me awake with memories of the graveyard. Its stones a specter that haunted my mind's eye, their cracked surfaces a canvas of forgotten lives. My watch lay askew on the stump, its face turned away as if in shame, its hands frozen at an odd angle, and our shoes were scattered, once neatly aligned by the tent flap, now a chaotic testament to the night's violation, their laces tangled like the threads of our unraveling peace. "Brandon, wake up," I urged, shaking his shoulder with an urgency that belied my calm, my voice a hushed plea that trembled in the still air. Someone messed with our stuff. His groggy confusion mirrored my unease, his eyes blinking against the light as he surveyed the chaos. The air thick with a tension we couldn't name, its weight a physical presence in the cramped space. We emerged to find Ashley and Chelsea already up, their faces pale beneath the morning's glow, their postures rigid with a fear they couldn't voice, their movements slow as if burdened by the night's residue. "Did you come into our tent?" Brandon asked, his tone edged with suspicion, his brow furrowed with doubt. "No way," Ashley replied, shaking her head, her dark hair catching the sun in a halo of light. "But something was in ours." My stuffs moved. My journal flipped open, my water bottle tipped over, and I barely slept because it felt like someone was standing over me, their breath cold on my neck, a weight that pressed against my chest. Chelsea nodded, her skin ashen, her hands trembling as she recounted a vanishing dark figure at the tent door, its form a shadow against the dawn, its edges blurring into the morning mist. A heavy silence fell, the tents bearing evidence of disturbance. No prank, but a presence that had breached our sanctuary, its touch a violation of our trust, its intent a mystery that chilled the blood. "Let's make breakfast and pack up," I said, fighting the chill that settled in my bones, my hands trembling as I gathered kindling, the twigs snapping like brittle bones under my grip, their sound a sharp counterpoint to the morning's calm. The fire crackled to life, a weak heartbeat in the clearing, its flames licking at the air with a hesitant vigor, and David's nervous glances. his eyes darting to the trees, swearing he saw movement, a flicker of shadow among the pines. Added to the unease, his breath quickening with each perceived threat. Eggs and bacon sizzled in a pan balanced on the stones, their aroma a fleeting normalcy that masked the dread. The grease popping with a sound that echoed the tension, and we dismantled the tents with haste, the canvas sagging under the weight of the night's terror, its poles bending as if weary. Packing the car, I felt watched, the woods holding their breath, their shadows deepening as if alive with intent, their silence a predator's patience, and the rustle of leaves a whisper of pursuit. Hours later, the highway's smooth expanse and the hum of civilization, cars passing, voices calling, brought relief, leading us to a bustling lake where families laughed and boats cut the water with a cheerful wake, a stark contrast to the solitude we'd fled, its noise a balm against the memory of the graveyard silence. We swam, the water a balm against the chill of the night, its cool embrace erasing the tension, the sun warming our skin as we floated on our backs, gazing at fluffy clouds drifting across a bright blue sky. Yet, closing my eyes, the image lingered, cracked headstones rising from the earth, thorny weeds clutching at the air, a presence watching from the shadows, and a prickling unease shadowed the day, a ghost that refused to release its hold, its whisper a thread in the wind. That night, at a crowded campground, we sought safety in numbers, the fire a weak defense against the memories that haunted us, its flames a fragile barrier against the dark. No ghost stories emerged, exhaustion ruling our tongues, the usual camping mirth, songs and jests, replaced by a somber quiet, the crackle of logs a solitary voice in the night. In my tent, sleep eluded me, every noise, an owl's hoot piercing the dark with a mournful cry, a skittering leaf brushing the nylon with a skittering rasp, heightening my fear, my body coiled like a spring, my muscles taut with anticipation. A twig snapped, its crack a gunshot in the stillness, a sound that reverberated through the trees, and footsteps circled, a steady rhythm that raised the hairs on my neck, their cadence a drumbeat of dread. I woke Brandon, whispering, "There's someone outside," my voice a thread of panic that trembled in the confined space, my breath visible in the cold. A shadow passed, blocking the moonlight, its form a silhouette against the tent's fabric, and Chelsea's scream, raw and primal, a sound that tore at the night, pierced the silence. We rushed out, finding her trembling, her cheeks streaked with tears that glistened in the firelight, claiming a shadowy figure had loomed over her, its form vanishing like smoke into the trees, its presence a void that lingered. Huddling in one tent, our bodies pressed close for warmth and courage, sleep fled as morning revealed runes carved around us, their jagged lines a language of the damned, their edges sharp against the earth, footprints circling. A chilling mark of the entity's claim, its pattern a map of its intent. The car's dead battery trapped us, panic hardening into a resolve born of desperation. We gathered firewood, stacking logs into a fortress that rose like a barricade against the night, their bark rough under our hands, and armed ourselves. A hatchet's edge honed to a gleam that caught the dying light, a knife's cool handle a fragile comfort against the unknown, a flare gun with one precious shot, its barrel cold to the touch. The forest's silence was ominous, not a bird chirping, its absence a void that pressed against our senses, as if the wild itself awaited the night's verdict, its breath held in anticipation. As darkness fell, we fortified the tent, the fire's flicker a frail barrier against the void, its light a trembling circle that cast shadows on the nylon walls. Whispers and shadows tormented us, the tent bucking under unseen force, its walls contorting like flesh under a spectral grip, the fabric straining with each movement. Chelsea was dragged out, her screams a dagger in the night, a sound that pierced the soul, fading into the dark like a thread snapped, leaving us shattered, her absence a wound that bled silence, her voice an echo that lingered in the air. We retreated inside, the lantern's light dying with a final flicker, plunging us into terror, its glow a memory as we huddled in the dark, until dawn's faint glow offered a fragile hope, a thread of light that pierced the gloom. Dawn revealed Chelsea's absence, the campsite a hollow shell, its emptiness a mirror to our loss, the grass trampled where we had fought, the stones cold and unyielding. We searched, calling her name with voices that cracked with desperation. Finding no trace, the forest malignant with shadows that seemed to leer from the trees, their depths a maw of darkness. Packing hastily, we carved a memorial for Chelsea, Chelsea, forever in our hearts. Into a tree, its bark yielding under the stick's pressure, the letters a testament to our grief, and fled uphill, our legs burning with the effort. Footsteps pursued, a dark shape weaving through trees, its form a blur among the trunks, toying with us, its rhythm a taunt that echoed with malevolent glee. Reaching the SUV, we escaped, the highway a lifeline that pulsed with the promise of safety. But the trauma lingered, a shadow in our souls, its weight a burden we carried. 14 months later, we're changed. Chelsea's loss a void we live with daily, her absence a silence that echoes in our dreams. The woods remain a myth, her fate a mystery that defies explanation. The whispers never truly silenced, their breath a constant companion. Could you brave a night in those cursed woods, feeling the weight of unseen eyes and the cold, spectral breath of the graveyard against your skin? Or would the whispers drive you to flee into the unknown, your sanity fraying with each step? Are you ready to confront the secrets buried beneath those ancient, cracked stones? Their silence a testament to the lost, or does the stillness of the forgotten chill you to your core, urging you to turn back?